This what it need to be.
Isn't his name Daniel Bryanson?
This right here.
Wrestlers, if you hear me, use your common sense.
AKA Chico de Oro de Cashport. Yo tengo el muy grande verga de todo.
Charlotte, that Flair.
General Tasos.
Hold on. Yes. The boys are back in full effect. Y'all see who we here with, man. I got my dog Manny here with me. My dog Cody here with me. Special guest in the corner, Mr. Kazeem Famuyide. You might have seen him on the MSG network. You might have heard him on Spotify, Ring of Wrestling, Mass Man Show, Count It, on Points Bets. Come on, man. For as long as I've known this man, he's always kept the job, bro.
I appreciate that, brother. I try to stay black and employed, yo. That's the goal.
That's a fact.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? There's never been a point. Every time I see you do something new, I'm like, damn, he did it again. It's like it's amazing, bro. Like your ability to pivot is crazy.
Facts.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I just feel like I try to just stay as I don't like to do anything funky that just doesn't fit my aesthetic or just anything I'm into, and I'm just glad that I've worked hard enough that I attract what I want, and I don't gotta chase after anything that I really don't want. So it's been a great couple of years. Well, what can I say?
Man, that's the goal ultimately for all of us. Like, man, I'm just trying to do what I love for real.
Yeah,
I'm tired of chasing the bag, man. That's all we want to do. You want to just do what you're happy to do. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times I'll be working and I'm like, man, I can't believe you guys pay me to do this type of stuff. And
right,
it's wild.
Like one of your many jobs, you get to talk basketball, which is a game that's I'm sure it's near and dear to all of our hearts here. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's that like? Just to like be able to just go talk ball with the homie Jeff J or whoever. It's like, man, like I'm really talking about the Knicks right now. Like,
yeah, bro, it's crazy. So I've known Jeff for at least minimum 13 years. You know what I mean? Like we've been in the trenches, we've been in parties, we've done stuff together, we've worked together, we've been at the same offices together. Like Jeff is my guy. And we've all been Knicks fans our entire life, and we're New Yorkers at the same time. So, it's always a blessing just to know that like our hometown team, the team that we grew up rooting for, reaches out to have us be the kind of like voices of it. So, it's wild, man. Like I love being able to go to the Garden any single time to watch a game or watch teams coming into town or performers or whatever. It's almost like my home away from home. So I love everything that comes with being a New Yorker, and man, I'm just blessed, man. I can't complain, bro.
That's fire. New York Jets, please. I aspire to get to that level with the New York Jets.
Hey, listen, we're gonna be all right this year, bro. We're gonna be okay. We're getting the quarterback. We getting somebody. You know what I mean? Zach ain't. You know what I mean? Going up under center. Like we're gonna get somebody who's solid. So
well, apparently Derek Carr is gonna be a Hall of Famer if he goes to the Jets.
You know what? I kind of wish that didn't leak out. You feel me? like, you know what I mean? Just kind of let it happen naturally, organically. I love Derek Carr. Like, my thing is, like, listen, I watched too much Zach Wilson, and it was so much with Mike White that I really wanted to, like, fool myself into believing. But good Lord. Derek Carr, Aaron Rodgers. Listen, I'm still, ever since, like, day one of the offseason, I've been like, yo, we need to get Lamar Jackson. Like Lamar Jackson is where it is at. Like if you're gonna like the thing about Derek Carr is that he's younger than Aaron Rodgers, so he'll be there for a long time. The thing about Aaron Rodgers is that he's better than Derek Carr, but he won't probably play for 4 or 5, 6 years. Lamar Jackson's the best of both worlds, and he black. So I'm just like, yo,
You get a minimum like 10 years out of Lamar too.
Minimum, and you paid him off rip, so like he ain't going nowhere. So like, if it was left up to me, it would be Lamar Jackson. But we'll see. Just to be all right next year. They got Sauce. They got Garrett. Like they'll be good. They'll be good.
That's a fact. I said that we got to interview D'Lo Brown. And we were talking football with him, and I was telling him, I was like, bro, the Jets is kind of set up for Lamar. Like that team is, the swag is there. The Lamar's missing, like he's the missing piece. You got Sauce, you got Garrett, you got Brees coming back, Makai and Quinnen on the line. It's like, bro, this team is full of just young dudes. I'm like, come on, Lamar.
Yeah, the wild shit is like that team is like tailor made for Lamar Jackson too, right? Like he's never had like. He goes to the Jets, that's immediately like the best offense he's ever had in his life. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to see, bro. We're going to see.
Yeah. Well, when you guys settle for Jimmy G, I'll be around just to...
Please,
don't do that.
Don't put that in.
Don't do that. I'm not even mad at Jimmy G, bro. Like, Jimmy G is like, anybody that could just give Zach Wilson like a year or two to just sit at home and like watch tape and like practice. Like that's the guy that I want, but
he's also the ultimate. Like he doesn't really make the big mistakes because he doesn't take any risk.
Nah,
and Zach Wilson's biggest thing is that he takes too many risks and doesn't, just settle for a bunch of plays. But the
thing about Zach Wilson is like he's never played an actual NFL. He's never played an actual quarterback in his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's always just kind of been like the guy that was kind of handed the job. So it's like, you never really have to beat nobody out to get a job. And now that you have to, you kind of, booty holes get tight. You know what I'm saying? So he'll be all right, man. He's young. He'll be fine. I know hopefully he gets, at least a great quarterback to learn underneath from. But, yeah, too much Jets talk. It's spring. I don't want to hear about the Jets for at least 4 or 5 months.
You're right. Let's pivot away from the Jets. Can we talk just a little bit of basketball briefly before we
let's talk some hoops.
You going to ask him about him?
Who, Julius Randle or Russ?
Oh, not here. I was sticking more towards Randle for now, but I see where you leading up to. So I'm gonna go ahead, my guy.
You go first.
No, because you talk about the Knicks and everything about being a Knicks fan. We know this from New York and everything. So a lot of people want to know. Is this the year for the Knicks? Are you going to jump out the window and just tell the listeners, like, this is the year? This is the year the Knicks get it done?
It depends on your definition of jumping out the window, right? Like, I mean, this is definitely the best Knicks team of the past 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is definitely the best Knicks team since the Melo, Amari, Jason Kidd, Tyson Chandler Knicks. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, that went to the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs and lost to the Indiana Pacers. But here's the thing, man. That team, the thing about this New York Knicks team is that they are absolutely tailor-made for a Tom Thibodeau type of coach. They have the great thing about them, and the thing that I love the most about them is that their star players and their best players are very low-maintenance guys. You're not necessarily going to think of load management, or you're going to think of, guys that are just drama queens or whatever. Like when Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle are your best players, those are like lunch pail, like I'm just going to just do my thing, go to work and go home type of players. And that's kind of what you want for a New York Knicks franchise, because like that's the only way that franchise is built for success, right? Like it's not necessarily a team necessarily built for a megastar player when they could just kind of just call the shots. We've kind of seen what happened in Brooklyn, and we've seen what happened in Los Angeles and a lot of other teams around the league where, the players kind of call the shots. Where the New York Knicks, they've kind of established a respectable sort of like college-like mentality where, like a lot of their best players are guys who played 2, 3, 4 years in college that are just, professional basketball players. And that sounds hella cliche, but like just being a pro in New York City, where it's very easy to kind of like get trapped into a lot of other stuff that comes with being a pro in New York City. Doesn't happen with Jalen Brunson, doesn't happen with Julius Randle, doesn't happen with RJ Barrett. So to say if this is the year that they're going to do it, I don't know. I mean, this is definitely this is definitely the best Knicks team that I've seen in a long, long, long time. And the Eastern Conference has definitely done the Knicks a lot of favors as far as like making themselves susceptible to be beat. Like if you look at the top of the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks, and God, I forget who the other team is at the top of the East, but the Knicks have beat them all.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Knicks have beat them all, and Jalen Brunson is only getting better, and Josh Hart's been an incredible addition to that team. So I ain't gonna jump out the window, but I will say if some wild shit happens this spring or summer, it wouldn't shock me completely.
Not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
They hold their own against Philly whenever they play them. So they played them twice in the last
yeah,
month.
so Philly was the third team in the Eastern Conference, and they're about 2-3 players deep. And the great thing about the Knicks is that they're a defensive-minded sort of team. So James Harden is James Harden. You know what I mean? Like he'll do what he got to do. Joel Embiid is leading the league in NBA in scoring, but however, the Knicks got like 5-7 footers that they could throw at him to at least slow him the fuck down. Like you're not going to stop him, but you can at least do a few things to kind of get him not as efficient as he can be. And the Knicks have played him well all this year, so I'm my Knicks bias is super super high, but just as a basketball fan though, I like the Knicks' chances against the top 3 teams in the Eastern Conference. And the Brooklyn Nets being the 4th team, just knowing that losing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, you're liable to slide down a little bit. So I ain't gonna say this is the year for the Knicks, but
okay,
it wouldn't shock me completely if they make a run.
Man. All right, Evie, it's on you.
One last question before we move on to wrestling. I feel like ever since this man said this, it's been hell for him. A young man by the name of John Morant said, "We good in the West." We good in the West. And ever since then, it has been smoke. I've seen Kyrie Irving go to the Mavericks. I've seen Kevin Durant go to the Suns. I've seen the Clippers get deep. Pause. Adding Bones Highland, Eric Gordon. Who else? They just got
Russell.
Us. Like, so how is it looking?
Oh, can't forget Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's also on the Phoenix Suns now too. So I mean, that's another thing.
What's it looking like for them boys in Memphis, man?
I'm a big Grizzlies fan, but I definitely think the John Morant Bleacher Report, ESPN interview, mixed with Steven Adams getting hurt, mixed with the Western Conference getting hella strong in the past 2 months. I definitely wouldn't have led with that, right? Like, I definitely wouldn't have said what John Morant said. But the thing about that is, given all that happened, they're still second in the Western Conference. Like, they're still right behind the Denver Nuggets, who have probably the guy who's going to be the 3-time MVP award winner alongside, so a very deep team and a very well-coached team. So I still like the Grizzlies. I'm still waiting for Steven Adams to kind of show up and be healthy. The trade deadline's over. Tons of veterans that will have opportunities to find contending teams and help them out. So I mean, who knows? Who knows if the Memphis Grizzlies add a guy like Eric Pascal or Carmelo Anthony or just anybody that can really help them and give them some sort of depth at their position. So John Morant, he's definitely acting like King Von the past couple of weeks, but I'm a fan of his. And I'm hoping that they figure it out because as far as the Western Conference is concerned, as far as then changing of the guard, I kind of feel like it's their conference to lose. So we'll see what happens with them.
That's a fact. We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. But that's enough hoops. That's enough football, man. Let's get to the wrestling, man. You know what it is. Every year we do the Black History Month Spotlight segment where we spotlight Black talent in wrestling, past, present, future. We got to cover it all. This time, we're doing a little different than ever before. Usually everybody picks a person, but this time, we're probably going to choose one person. I'm choosing 4 people. 4 women in particular to highlight. And these are 4 black women that are doing fantastic in their genre and everything that they're doing. I got to spotlight Miss Mercedes Monet. Got to spotlight Miss Jade Cargill. Got to spotlight Miss Athena, and I got to spotlight Miss Bianca Belair. 4 black women, 4 champions. Man, what can I say? Where do I start? Where do I begin? Who wants to take it, man?
I mean, it's an incredible time for black professional wrestling. You know what I mean? Especially the black women in professional wrestling. This past week on a Ring of Wrestling show, the Mass Man show, oh my God, David Shoemaker, Brian Walters, Jonathan Kerma. I spoke about just how much Mercedes Moné / Sasha Banks played into reigniting my love of professional wrestling, right? Like I'm a lifer, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if y'all can see my office right here, but like I got a shit ton of pro wrestling stuff. And this right here, this was like the first wrestling event I ever saw, the first Survivor Series in 1988. I was a year old, but I swear to God, I remember every single moment of that. I might have been a year old, but like one of my first memories in life was seeing Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, like the Mega Powers talking about, you know what I mean, going up against, you know, Big Boss Man and Akeem and shit, and just cartoonish ass motherfuckers. And I was just like, oh shit, like this is, you know, I'm 1 year old, but like that was one of my first early ass memories as a kid. And fast forward several years later, I was doing a party called Henny Palooza in New York City, and it happened to fall. Yeah, great old days, man. Like we were doing Henny Palooza at the Wick and the Well. If anybody who's ever from Brooklyn, New York, know where the Wick and the Well is, like we had that joint sold out. We had Run Ricky Run, whoever performed Manola Rose pulled up, Casanova pulled up. Like this is hella Brooklyn, you know what I mean? And I left that joint early to go to NXT Takeover in Brooklyn, right? Like, and that is where Sasha Banks and Bayley have the greatest fucking, at least top 3 greatest wrestling matches I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes. So I'll put it like this, man. Like I've gotten to work with Sasha / Mercedes in a little bit of a sense in my WWE days, but she's always struck me as somebody who's absolutely always been about pushing the culture forward as far as professional wrestling is concerned. And the fact that she took her star power and everything that she's built up in NXT and WWE and Disney, Star Wars, all that type of shit, and being like, yo, I'm going to go wrestle for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And, you know, it speaks to exactly how dope she is, man. Like, so major shout outs to her, you know, and just being able to fucking continue to like be that catalyst of women's professional wrestling, where there's places and people that I'd want to see as far as like pro wrestlers are concerned, but she will always do something or celebrate something that maybe is off the beaten path. And you know, she's one of the living legends, man. She's a GOAT. So it's crazy that like she's barely even 30 years old, and she's already accomplished so much and done so much that you know, people like me who are just fans of the art that she puts out has you know, continued to be just fucking incredible in what she does. So I'm so happy that, you know, she could still make a mark on the world of professional wrestling without necessarily being in a major United States or North American wrestling company at the moment.
No, that's That's a fact. Like what more can I say about Sasha slash Mercedes? Is like one of my favorites doing it, one of my favorite female wrestlers of all time. Like, and she's willing to step out the comfort zone, WWE, bet on herself, go out there and look where she's at, man. Look at the news, the headlines. She's still making noise out there, still doing it, only gonna shine light on another promotion, on other women on the come up doing their thing as well. It's just like all of that plays into it as well with her. You mentioned Bianca Belair as well. It's like like speaking of what more can I say about Sasha, what more can I say about Bianca I haven't said on the show? Like Bianca's just amazing. Bianca's just on top of her game right now, just killing it right now, man. Jade Cargill as well, continued improving and doing it, shutting it down the way she's doing it, holding down in that TBS championship, everything. Athena also leaving the WWE, going to AEW, Ring of Honor Women's Champion. Like all of this should be celebrated right now for these ladies and how they killing it right now. This is dope.
Yeah, man. Between like Bianca Belair, Jay Cargill, who's a great friend of mine, fantastic talent. Athena, who I've been a fan of for a long time. Like, I'm just happy that it's not just like, oh, we're just celebrating black women's wrestlers because it's Black History Month or whatever. Like, it just happens that this is around the time that there's more eyes on professional wrestling than there usually is throughout the entire year. And, Mercedes Moné, Athena, Jay Cargill, Bianca Belair, like, I feel like every single year, professional wrestling, especially black professional wrestlers, just continue to like raise the bar on, what's possible and what can be done and what you can accomplish. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, man. Like a couple of years ago, right before the pandemic, where we was doing Wale Mania in New York City, I had just finished my run in WWE, and we was all, doing this event where we were just going to show love to not just Booker T, who was going into the WWE Hall of Fame for the second time, but the New Day and Kofi Kingston, and this incredible groundswell of support that he's received to become the world champion. And it's wild, man. Like, it doesn't happen like that. It always happens sort of organically, and that's kind of the beauty of professional wrestling, especially black professional wrestling. So, what a time right now, man. Like, there's never been a time where there's been this much incredible black talent throughout every single company. And, we're going to look back in a few years and be like, yo, these were the women that really fucking paved the way and, like, stopped their feet as, like, the leaders of this generation of women's wrestling. So it's incredible right now, man. What can you say?
That's a fact, man. And I just love how, like, you look at all four of them in all different companies, but just how dominant all of them are in their company is ridiculous to me. You know what I'm saying? You look at Bianca's run over the last year, or even if you count the last like 2 years, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's been booked so like crazy, but like her talent, her charisma, just everything about her is just off the scales, it's off the charts. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been dominating the women's division for all 2 years plus, you know what I'm saying? To the point where it's like, damn, like, can she lose? Can you get hurt? Does your knee hurt? Like, you just invincible, you know what I'm saying? Like, people out here comparing her to John Cena, calling her Jane Cena is crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, Bianca Belair is a generational talent, man. Like, she's like the first time I even saw her, like, in like the WWE Combine, I was like, there's never been, I'm not even talking about female wrestling, I'm not even talking about black wrestling. I'm like, yo, there's never been somebody as talented, as like physically gifted as this woman. And like, people look at her because she's a woman, especially as a black woman, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, great for a woman. I was like, nah, bro, like, that is a high level Division I SEC fucking athlete. And on top of that, she has the charisma and the wherewithal to take this industry by storm in such a short amount of time. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Bianca Belair is going to be looked at as one of the greatest of all time, and she's one of those folks where you look at guys like Kurt Angle when they first got in, or Brock Lesnar when they first got in, where it's just like, man, like this is just a fucking. We're just blessed to have this once in a lifetime athlete be interested in this crazy ass industry that we do. And on top of that, she happens to have like the charisma of fucking like a Beyonce Knowles on top of that shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's like a lab. It's like you built Bianca Belair in a lab. So like, yo, like fucking take pro wrestling as far as you can possibly take it. And that's who she is, man. Like it's an absolute it's really a joy to watch her just do what she does every single week.
Like the thing for me is like, when a lot of people they get these questions when an NXT prospect is doing good in NXT and everything, and it's time to come up, you had those question marks. But about Bianca, it's like Bianca is a can't miss prospect. Like
Yeah, man.
they couldn't miss. You couldn't mess that up. And it goes
You're Cleveland, Ohio in 2002, bro. That's like, yo, we got the greatest prospect ever. He's also from our town. He's also exactly what we fucking need to like take this shit to the next level. And that's what Bianca Belair was a few years ago, right? Like,
right.
Even in NXT, where you can tell they wanted to give her the world, but they necessarily couldn't because, like, goddamn, this is happening really fast. Are we sure we should just throw the NXT title on her? Are we sure we should whatever? And that was literally my only holdback with her, Like, It wasn't even an indictment on her. It was more of an indictment on NXT and WWE, where it's like, how do you have LeBron James on your team and don't make him the point guard? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you have Patrick Mahomes on your bench and like, we're not going to start him? You know what I'm saying? Like, that was my only gripe with Bianca Belair and NXT. Because it's like, yo, you have a fucking can't miss 5-star, 5-tool, does everything, fucking phenomenal prospect.
Mm-hmm.
She should be the face of everything you do. Granted, they didn't get it right in NXT, but they for sure got it right when she got on the main roster, because ever since she's made it up here, she's been the mega star that we all kind of saw her being since she jumped in.
That's right. They made sure not to mess that up.
Oh, for sure.
And everyone named, they're all like pioneers too. Not only do they have like the in-ring talent, but then they have the it factor. And then now you have Bianca. She's getting her own show with Montez, and she's a dominant champion. You got Mercedes. She's doing Star Wars and New Japan. Like, not too many people go to, Disney. And then now they're like, oh, and we're also going to have a side gig in Japan doing the most intense professional wrestling there probably is.
Facts.
Then you have Jade Cargill. She's, the women's champ on TBS, the TBS women's champ. And like, that's a new company. So she's like breaking ground for everyone in the future. Like, she's going to set the standard. And then you have Athena. She's the Ring of Honor women's champ. And like, imagine how tough that is, that you have to carry a division on a brand that's rebranding all constantly. And now, they're about to get their own show, and like she's gonna have to figure out, okay, how do we make this more important? Mm-hmm. So everyone named, like, while they're all amazing, now they're taxed with, all right, how do we become the first of what we're doing and succeed at the same time without a playbook? Like, there isn't anyone in the past that they can look to and be like, oh yeah, this is what I have to do. They're all setting a brand new standard.
I would say like the playbooks that they have to look at are like the playbooks from the great wrestlers of the past, right? Like there isn't necessarily a playbook for like a female wrestler, but like if you're Bianca Belair, like you better be watching like John Cena circa 2006 to 2009. Like if you're Jade Cargill, you better be watching Kurt Angle circa 1999 to 2002. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're Athena and you want to build the women's roster of Ring of Honor, a restarted new company in the time, you better be watching some of the best mat technicians and the folks that like love Ring of Honor and the incredible sort of brand of wrestling that they've sort of become synonymous with. You know what I mean? So I would say like there's not necessarily a place for them to find sort of people to follow and follow the blueprint, but you know the great thing about it is that they're such anomalies is that like their only comparison is the best of people to have ever done this sort of thing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So like calling Bianca Belair Jane Cena isn't just like a catchy thing to do. It's like, nah, man, like she's legitimately gonna be on like Wheaties boxes in 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like she's legitimately gonna be like the way you hear John Cena in every single fucking like Ford Focus commercial, whatever the fucking car he's talking, you know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna be Bianca Belair, you know what I'm saying? Like that's gonna be Jade Cargill in a few years, you know what I'm saying? Like black women, you know, women in particular, but especially black women, have an incredible sort of tie that binds when it comes to professional wrestling, because it is a sport that is not just physical, but it's mental and it's also entertainment. So anything that fucking like goes to the that is something that like folks that really gravitate them towards to, whether it's entertainment, whether it's drama, whether it's athleticism, whether it's beauty, whether it's all that type of stuff, like Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, Mercedes Moné, like Athena, like they touch every single part of that. So, you know, you never know where, you know, these people are not just on TV, but they're your champions. So every single time they're going to be on television, that's an opportunity to see somebody who looks like that and be like, holy shit, that's fucking dope. What is this? Like, holy shit, that's fucking dope. Like, when can I watch this type of shit? So, I'm a fan, man. Like, I'm just really fucking excited. And on top of that, like, I'm just happy that the women of professional wrestling that are really being game changers and, you know, moving the plateaus of what's possible in this industry are black women right now. Kind of like rap. It's kind of like rap right now, right? Like the best fucking rappers right now are all black women. You know what I mean? Like they got the hardest hits or the biggest hits. You know what I'm saying? And
shout out to Ice Spice.
Shout out to Ice Spice. Ice Spice ain't ever put a bad song out in her life, bro.
Queen of New York City. It's not happening. When you're from the Bronx, that don't happen.
Listen, I've never heard a bad Ice Spice song in my life, bro. Like her, Coi Leray, fucking Lola Brooke. That's how pro wrestling is right now. Everybody got their favorite, and right now they running shit, and that's what makes it so fucking fun at the moment.
That's a fact, man. Also, shouts to Ice Spice, man. I really, you know, it's funny today on the drive home. I was thinking about like, cause Pop Smoke, he passed around this time a few years ago.
3 years ago,
yeah. And I was thinking, I was like, damn, like after he passed, I was like, who really filled that void in the city? Like, who could really say they got the city? And I was like, right now, it's like I could kind of say Ice got it, bro. Like she's making pretty bitch music and it's hot. Like
the pretty bitch drum music is real as fuck though, man. Like on top of that, like, you know, like, yeah, like women are making the best music out, but on top of that, like she was the first person to make drill music like palatable. Like she was the not first person to make drill music, but first person to make like New York drill music that wasn't all about shoot 'em up, kill, bang, bang.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, you know, she already has a leg up when it comes to that sort of shit.
Man.
But Lola Brooks, she's bringing the energy back negative. Like it's the most adorable, aggressive lyrics you'll ever hear in your life. Yeah. Yelling "Gimme Beso" with a deeper voice than mine.
Word up, yo. Goddamn, I couldn't do that shit.
Not for nothing, Lola, man. She could command a crowd, bro. I've seen her perform at a concert. And
that's because she comes out sprinting. She runs a 4.240. That's why. So
and like 3 feet tall.
Yeah, she's literally like this big, but her voice is like heavy. She was like, New York, what up? And I was like, huh? You talking to
Don't play
me?
with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it.
Shouts to Lola, man. Shouts to Ice. Shouts to Bianca Belair. Shouts to Mercedes Monet. Shouts to Athena and the beautiful Miss Jade Cargill, who will
Yes.
also be at Wale Mania. If y'all have not seen, if y'all have not heard, my boy right here, Kaz, announced, well, on Twitter, online, that Miss Jade Cargill will be in the building at Wale Mania. So if y'all have not gotten your tickets yet,
That's the first wave. That's the first wave of artists, man. First
Mm.
wave of guests. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure we're doing it where every week people are excited to see the next wave of people that's going to be at Wale Mania. Folks who are fans of this podcast who haven't been to WrestleMania weekend or Wale Mania yet. I mean, Wale Mania is something that myself, Wale, the one and only Court Bauer, who runs MLW, my guy Emilio Sparks. Wale's been a longtime friend of mine ever since my Source magazine days. And we used to touch a bunch of events, touch a bunch of, sports. We're sports fans, so we done touch Super Bowls, All Stars, finals, all that type of stuff. But we're also big wrestling fans. And I want to say around WrestleMania 31, we was out in the city and we was like, damn, man, like, how come wrestling doesn't have an event like LeBron's Two Kings Party or, the 40/40 Club or like, the Beats by Dre parties or like any of those All-Star Weekend Super Bowl parties that we're just kind of used to that we go to every single year. So, Court Bauer, who's a fantastic person, runs Major League Wrestling, was one of the first people to kind of spark up Wale Mania, the first one. And that was at the WrestleMania in San Jose, California, where it was Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. And we had an incredible amount of talent: Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio, Rob Van Dam, Jeff Hardy, Chris Hero, Dave Meltzer, Jim Ross. All those people came out, and every single year it's just become bigger and bigger and bigger. And I feel like in addition to Wale Mania getting bigger, all of the people that have kind of like helped put it together have gotten bigger as well. My brother Emilio Sparks, who's been a mainstay in the wrestling industry, whether it's through audio, whether it's producing podcasts for people, whether it's for working for companies, like he's been an absolute stud. Myself, I've gotten to work in WWE and do things for a couple of years where I've got to help like manifest and create some incredible opportunities for folks and maintain some incredible relationships. And I've gotten to the point where myself, Wale, Sparks have created this sort of, I want to say, I don't know the best way to say it, but it's almost like an institution at this point where, I would go to WrestleMania weekend events every year, and I didn't feel like there was events or parties that kind of spoke to my wrestling fandom, which is folks that look like me, folks that love hip hop, folks that love, certain level of professional wrestling, all that type of shit. And, I was like, fuck it, why don't we just make it? You know what I mean? So as Wale Mania grew, and Duce Palooza / Henny Palooza grew, I was like, you know what? Like Wale Mania would really fucking turn up if it had a little bit of Henny Palooza in it. So you know what I'm saying? So I think New York was the first time we really kind of let me just kind of cook with it. And we had Booker T come out as the guest of honor with his wife Sharmell, and the New Day came out right from, like, it was 2 nights before Kofi Kingston won the WWE World Championship, you know what I mean? Like, and it just spoke to the Black wrestling experience. And it wasn't necessarily just like exclusive of anybody. Like, the beautiful part about it is like, yeah, it's kind of a Black wrestling experience, but everybody wants to come through. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cool thing to fucking do on a Thursday night for WrestleMania week, whatever the city is at. So I'm really proud of what we've done in the past 7 to 8 years, and I'm really excited to see where we take it in the next several years, especially with the opportunities that we have coming up.
Definitely, man. We was in the building that night. Couple days before Kofi won, and let me tell you, listeners, it's a movie in there. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got your tickets, please get your tickets. They doing it bigger in LA. I already know it's gonna be crazy out there, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. And if y'all don't know this man, this man knows how to throw a party, bro. Like, if anybody knows how to throw a party, is this man Kaz, bro. Like, I've been to the Henny Paloozas. He was talking about Henny Palooza earlier. A tear almost trickled down my face, bro. Like, I've been to them all, bro. I've been to.
Those are the days. I'm a father now, bro. I can't do Henny Palooza like I used to.
I'm retired, man. I got a shorty. I'm out.
How about Jersey up, yo?
we might need one more just to like inaugurate that outside is open again. Just
it's hard, yo. It's
one-
hard, man. We ended it. We ended it at Barclays Center. We sold out the
that
Barclays
is true.
Center, man.
That
like,
is true.
It's hard to do one more when like that's the note that you leave out on. You know what I'm saying? So,
but was that
maybe we'll do a reunion one of these days.
Man,
Who knows?
come on. If Ric Flair's not stopping, why should you?
Here's my thing. Was that supposed to be the last one, or was it just coincidence that like the pandemic had came?
The pandemic fucked a lot. I mean, yeah, like, you know, like Henny Palooza / Duce Palooza isn't necessarily a pandemic-friendly environment. You know what I'm saying? I'm walking around spraying people with cognac. You know what I mean? Like pouring, like it's not necessarily. It's very germy.
Yes.
No, but the Henny washes the germs away. Everybody knows if you drink Henny, you didn't get COVID.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it just the timing just kind of, you know, signified like, all right, yeah, like it's time. Like, you know, also like all of us, you know what I mean, have all sort of like moved on to, you know, greater things, you know what I mean? And just like the timing of that just kind of it's not necessarily conducive to, you know, the stuff that we do anymore. I mean, look at all the people that were involved in that. Rory, one of the best podcasters in hip hop with Rory and Maul shows like Joe Budden podcast. Raven, who's like one of the biggest photographers in the game right now, on tour with Adele and Beyonce and shit. Low key over at Apple Music, you know what I'm saying? Like Austin Mills, one of the biggest house DJs in the planet right now. Fucking Cam McCullough, who's killing it over for Game 7, one of the biggest like industry advertising agencies in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm doing my thing. Like everybody, Carl is doing his thing. Peach is doing his thing. Like everybody kind of, you know, moved on to these incredible opportunities where, you know, the Henny Palooza / Duce Palooza era was a special moment in time, and you know, it kind of. It's always fun to look back and be happy that like, yeah, like we kind of did that, but it's also good to know in the back of your head like, man, if we ever just form like Voltron just one more time,
one more,
you know what I mean? Like,
but
it could
even
be,
like
it could be a
look
movie.
at that group of people you name. Like everybody grew into something like amazing where they're at the top of their game in the industries that they're in. So it was like, did you guys know at the time, like while you guys were doing this, oh, we might. You know, not everybody could think that a whole big group of friends can do something like that. So when it happens, are you guys sitting there like, yo, this is actually insane that this is happening?
I definitely did. I knew how much talent we all kind of had because, you know, you understand, like, it wasn't like we were doing like Henny Paloozas and Duce Paloozas. Like, this is things that like people sit in conference rooms and meetings for hours and hours and hours to try and concept as far as like its success rate. And for us, we would all just like link up like at the end of the month, like, all right, ready to go. And then once you push the button, like we knew that show was gonna sell out. We know people was gonna go to wherever city we was going to, and we were all just like masters in our craft. And I always told folks like the Duce Palooza, Henny Palooza crew was like the Wu-Tang Clan of creatives in New York City, where like everybody was just a fucking beast in what they did. So, you know, it wasn't necessarily like, you know, people have tried to like copy the formula, but like, you know, it's not necessarily it's tough to do that because all of us are I'd say masters in our craft and whatever we do, you know what I'm saying? So between myself, Cam, Rory, Raven, Austin, Mecca, Corey Towns, Low Key, Chris, fucking everybody, like it was Benner, Peach, like it's gonna be a long time or a rare time that you see that many people that established, that talented, just say fuck whatever the fuck we're doing for the next couple of days. We're putting all our efforts into throwing the best fucking party we can possibly do and go on tour doing that shit. And also Jay-Z's gonna come in and like fucking invest in it and like
Yeah.
put this shit together and make sure that y'all shit is popping. So man, I'll always have love for Henny Palooza. But that's sort of the same inspiration I take every time we go to do Wale Mania.
Boy,
If you got a Four Local Palooza in you, just let me know.
Oh God, you live in foul thinking anything for Loco.
We got this. I'm bringing the brand back.
Just you. Just kidding.
You talking about all that shit. It's just memories going back in my head. I'm like, damn, I remember Webster Hall. I remember stage Terminal 5. I remember it's like it's just mad memories.
That was the beauty of it, man. Like all those events, like we were having like the biggest artists in the planet just coming just to perform and just show love. Like we weren't paying nobody. Like fucking Rick Ross, like Chance the Rapper, fucking Dipset, Ja Rule, like people just coming just cause they were like, yo, man, like I know the vibe and I just want to come and just be a part of the vibe. So like you know, like it really does feel like a once in a lifetime sort of moment, you know what I mean, with a collective group of people that I'll call my best friends to the day out to my last days, man.
Dope.
Man. If y'all never got to experience that, tough luck. You know what I'm saying?
I missed out every
time. It was
time.
a different time,
yo.
Yeah. It was a different time, man. Like we'll never, you know, I don't think we'll ever have a palooza where we're like doing like COVID tests and like temperature checks.
Oh, no.
Like, it was a different time. It was the before time. I'll call it.
Facts.
Before.
You think Mayor Adams is gonna let that happen?
Yo, first
he
of all,
personally got rid of all of the tests.
I know Mayor Adams would have pulled up like 1,000%. The Mixie Mayor. Mixie Mayor definitely knows about Palooza. I'm almost positive he probably was at one of them shit.
He's in your DM request right now, telling
you.
Yo,
Not
fam.
shock me. You have me. I'm at the door.
Yo. Oh my God, man. Shouts to Palooza, man. Like we said before, if that didn't entice y'all to buy your tickets, man, make sure y'all go get your tickets to Wale Mania March 30th.
March 30th, Thursday night at the Novo. Anybody coming to Los Angeles for WrestleMania weekend, if you're flying in on Thursday, let me tell you, I promise you, you do not want to start your WrestleMania weekend any other way than being at Wale Mania. It is a converge in the counterculture of hip-hop, wrestling, youth culture, sneakers, fashion, music, everything in one place. It is my baby. You know, between myself, Wale, this is the year, man. Like ever since WrestleMania weekend was announced in Los Angeles, California, I was like, nah, this is the year that we fucking really, really show our nuts and like really just fucking go all out. Anybody who follows me on social media, you have an idea what it's going to be like this year. I'm not going to say no names. I'm not going to say nobody. All I'm saying is if you're a wrestling fan or you're a hip-hop fan and you want to be at the Novo, Los Angeles, LA Live, March 30th, Thursday night, the night before Friday Night SmackDown in the same building in LA Live, and 2 nights before NXT Stand and Deliver and WrestleMania Night 1 in SoFi Stadium. Downtown Los Angeles. Trust me, people, get your tickets right now.
And it's actually a party. It's not like a convention with a bunch of people like with tables and stuff like that, signing autographs, shaking hands. It's like an actual. It's a night out. Like you don't even need to like wrestling to be there and have a good time.
It's a party / fan fest / concert / just kickback. Like it's everything I wanted as a wrestling fan going to wrestling events. I'll put it like that. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna meet, there's a good chance you'll run into your favorite wrestler. There's a good chance you'll have a great night, have your favorite DJ come in and spit it for an hour or two. There's a good chance, you know what I mean, we're opening up the show with the Ringer Wrestling Mass Man Show podcast. There's a good chance you're going to get to, if you're a wrestling fan, you get to see and kick it with one of your favorite wrestlers and listen to them for an hour, you know what I mean, right before the biggest night of their careers. Wale Mania is it, bro. If you're a black wrestling fan and you in the Los Angeles area, if you're not at Wale Mania, trust me, you are playing yourself. Don't miss it if you're gonna be in the area.
That's a fact, man. Make sure y'all tap in, bro. Man, Kaz, brother, it's always good, man. Thank you for joining us, for gracing us with your time, your presence. You know what I'm saying? It's always good to talk to you, catch up with you, talk hoops, football, wrestling, learn shit. You know what I'm saying? It's always dope, man. I learned a bunch from you, man.
Let me tell you, man, I've been following and watching y'all for many years. You know what I'm saying? Like back in my wrestle rap days, before WWE, before anything, and there wasn't a whole lot of people like us. There wasn't a whole lot of people that were creating places of comfort for black wrestling fans, and like the Black Announce Table is absolutely one of those places that I always check on. I've always been a fan of. You guys have always been doing it right. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I'm just so proud of your growth every single year, man. So, you know, the black wrestling content creators out there, especially you guys, you know what I mean? D-Lo, Sky, F, everybody, like, you guys have been fucking killing it for several years. And I'm proud of y'all, man. So I just want to say, man, like, as somebody who knows exactly where y'all have been as far as like trying to get it from the mud from the very beginning, man. You guys are doing it the right way, man. So shout out to the Black Announce Table, man. I'm so happy to always be on the show whenever y'all have me, man. Thank you.
I appreciate you, brother, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Before you get up out of here, man, do you want to plug anything?
Oh, of course, I gotta plug my shit. Get your Wale Mania tickets right now. Go on my social media page at Kazeem on Instagram, Twitter. It's on AXS.com. I mean, we're almost sold out. We're damn near sold out. But get them shits until they gone. But until then, if you're a basketball fan, you can catch me on Count It Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, YouTube, wherever you stream podcasts, on the PointsBet app, on NBC Sports as well. If you're in the New York City area, if you're a New York Knicks fan, you can catch me on Inside the Line for MSG PM, PointsBet, all that other stuff, the betcast as well. Wrestling fans, you can hear me tomorrow on the Ringer Wrestling Show, Mass Man Show. My guy David Shoemaker, Brian Walters, Jonathan Kerma. One of the biggest wrestling shows on the planet right now. We're a top 100 sports podcast. I can't believe that shit happened. So it's crazy. Shout out to everybody who's messed with the Mass Man Show and the Ringer Wrestling Network. Shout out David Shoemaker, Bill Simmons, obviously. And man, just March 30th, the Novo, LA Live, Wale Mania, biggest party of WrestleMania weekend. Be there. I'll get you a drink.
Y'all heard Local Mania coming soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out Terramana Tequila. Shout out Bel Air Rose, Rick Ross, everybody. Shout out to all the liquor brands. Shout out all the brands that fuck with us the long way, man. It's gonna be an incredible. You good, Pootie?
Terramana sponsoring Wale Mania?
I don't know. They might be doing it again this year, but they definitely did it last year. They did the toast for our guest of honor MVP last year. So we'll see, man. There'll definitely be some booze, some gifts. It's you know what? Y'all been there. You know what time it is. You know, I make sure everybody leaves with a little something. You know what I mean? So just come to Wale Mania. I'll make sure you're taken care of.
I like that.
Man.
Yeah.
Kaz, bro, once again, we appreciate you, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good one, man.
You too, brother.
Sir, you too, man.
Sir.